so here's the thing. Dustin wanted to cancel this week, and we thought like, okay, well, this is our first chance to just record without Dustin because you don't understand what he does to us. Like
we're
everyone,
free. We're finally free.
So we're recording this in secret. He probably won't even notice that it's up. But just, if anyone could mail us like a nail file and a cake. What's our safe, like, so if I say, what's a phrase that we could say, like, if I say this next week, that he's like about to fire me.
It's
Dustin's great.
It's Dustin. Dustin is wonderful. Or you're right, Dustin. Animation is overrated.
Just, you're right, Dustin. If we agree with Dustin, that is our call for help.
Welcome to another episode of Pajiba, the Pajiba television podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, our Pajiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Tori. And Dustin's not here today.
Woohoo!
Which, thank God, is all we can say. Like he left a note.
It's like a weight has been taken off of my shoulders.
Yeah.
Just a dead weight.
He left a note and said that he was very ashamed that he had not yet watched all of Night Sky on Amazon, which is the newest whole show, and he felt like he didn't want to talk about the shows that he had watched. So
He didn't watch enough shows.
Right.
Really, he was failing across the board. Mm-hmm. But holes come first, and if you haven't finished, it's kind of like dinner and dessert. Like, you have to finish your peas before you can have your pudding.
Right.
He needs to finish his hole before he can have whatever was Riverdale on this week. I don't know.
Probably.
Whatever other things.
Whatever other 25 shows he watches.
Does anyone listen? He just rattles them off.
I feel like he's making it up most of the time. I mean, unfortunately, neither of us can verify. But
no. Although every time he talks about New Amsterdam, I've forgotten. I always want to correct him and say it's The Resident, but I can't. But it's not even that I'm joking. I just genuinely can't remember which medical show he watches. Right. I want to be like, you mean The Resident, right?
He does mean The Resident. That's the thing. But we without Dustin, this is going to be a different show. It'll probably be shorter. But Tori, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm having well, Dustin's gone, so I decided to celebrate with some whiskey. So I'm having Glenmorangie with sherry cask finish. And then I put seltzer in it because it's still very hot out.
Oh, okay. And how is that?
It's good. Okay. It's nice.
I'm having more yogurt-flavored soju because what started as a joke has now become something that I guess I actually enjoy. Because it mostly tastes like the yogurt. I mean, it mostly tastes like the yogurt flavor. And then you just get a little bit of alcohol in there. So,
have you ever thought about mixing it into like a yogurt smoothie? Like, can you amp up the yogurt flavor?
I could, but I think I'd have to amp it up with like the Asian style yogurt drink flavor. Because it's that kind of yogurt. It's not like, American yogurt.
You can't just like pour kefir in it or something.
I feel like that would be weird. But I could definitely amp it up or just mix it to the point where you don't taste it and then you just drink the whole thing. And then you're very drunk very quickly because it's not a lot of alcohol, but it's like 12%. So it's not like, it's not like a beer. But
it's like a whole beer sized bottle.
Yeah. It's like a beer sized thing. It's like a couple beers worth of yogurt flavored alcohol. Again, this is not what I intended when I first got it, but this is where we are. So here we are. in it's This is coming out in June, which is shocking because how is it June already? That's crazy. Shouldn't be. It's too quick.
Well, it's May 30th for us.
That's true.
Let's not time travel. Let's focus on it's
Right.
not yet June.
I think I named I named the recording the wrong day, but that's fine. I can fix that. So it's not.
You've already had half a yogurt soju.
I may have had some yogurt soju. Look, we're gonna talk about a little bit of TV, but mostly we're gonna make fun of Dustin.
Oh, he's the worst.
It's just like I was trying to figure out what show, like what new network show might be like the most Dustin show, but then I got bored halfway through trying to just look at the list of the shows because they were all just Dustin-y, you know?
Well, and it doesn't matter because he'll watch them all anyway. Like that's the thing about Dustin is that like whether he likes it or not, he just keeps watching.
Right.
Even when he's like, "Oh, I finally like quit a show," he goes back to it. And I don't
Like
know if it
like
counts.
there's another The Rookie coming next year.
Like a spinoff?
Yeah, a spinoff. So he's gonna watch that. There's a CBS drama. Now I'm just going through a list. There's a CBS drama called "So Help Me Todd," which is a PI and his mom, with Skylar Astin and Marcia Gay Harden. So
Oh, that could actually be kind of cute.
could be fun.
I mean, it probably won't be, but you know.
There's True Lies. They're doing the TV version of True Lies.
Is that the one? No, I'm thinking of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith one, which I thought they were adapting.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is the Amazon one with Donald Glover.
With Donald Glover, yeah.
And now Maya Erskine. Before it was Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, yeah. So then what's True Lies?
True Lies is CBS is doing a TV version of True Lies with, I think, Matt Nix created it, the guy who did Burn Notice.
Oh.
So it'll be fun.
Do we know who's in it?
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Steve Howie and Ginger Gonzaga. I don't know who Steve Howie is. Ginger Gonzaga is great, but she's been in a lot of comedies.
Steve Howie sounds like one of those football players who tries to turn to acting.
Let's see what Steve Howie's been in. This is a great episode. He was on Shameless for a long time, which I've never seen. So, yeah, pretty much you probably know him from Shameless.
Didn't Dustin try to make us watch that during the?
He put it on the list.
Yeah, that didn't get far.
I don't think so. Yeah, other than Shameless, he's been like a guest star in stuff where I'm sure I saw him, but I don't remember who he was. He was also in the UPN sitcom Reba back in the early 2000s.
That show didn't that show go on forever, or did it just get syndicated forever?
That show went for 125 episodes. So it did go for a while.
So it beat Anger Management.
It did beat Anger Management.
I wonder why I know that, Dan. Why do I know how long Anger Management went?
Look, we can all agree that mistakes were made, and people had to watch things that they should not have had to watch, and myself included. So, look, I suffered just as much as everybody.
That's true.
Anyway, look, Dustin's not here because he abandoned us for his family, I guess. I don't know.
Which, like, come on, take 2 hours once a week and spend time with your poor subordinates.
Right. He doesn't even have to do any of the, he just shows up and just says a bunch of nonsense and drinks a lot.
Last week he was already drunk.
Oh, that's right. He pre-drank last week.
It worked out great.
It did.
So Dustin So we're loose. We're able to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever we want, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also a little bit lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does feel like low-hanging fruit to make fun of him when he isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also finally be honest.
Right.
Because what's he going to do? Fire us? He doesn't listen to the podcast.
That's true.
We can say whatever we want.
Oh, the only downside now that I'm realizing is that whatever things we assign him, he will not know because
No, but
he.
those we'll have to tell him, and then we'll just
Right.
say you should listen to the podcast to verify. But we already promised that you'll
Right.
watch all of Night Sky,
Yeah.
and maybe Spy Family. And he can't really speed that up because he has to read the subtitles. I guess it depends on how fast he can read. What else? You know what we could do? We could come up with a homework assignment, similar to the 100th episode. What episode would next week be? Like episode
for us?
130 or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
that is a good question.
We could just randomly be like, we're picking the best 131st episodes of shows.
Well, no, we're past that. Hang on. It's loading. It's not loading. What's happening? All right, that's not working. We're in like 130 something.
Something. We could tell him he has to prepare that.
That would be.
We could give him a list of shows to watch, and then we don't watch them, and he has to also talk about those.
Oh shoot! Why is it not gonna? Oh, okay. This will be today is episode 138.
Okay. So next week would be so it would be the best 139th show.
That I'm sure will be amazing. And
We could tell
you
him
know
he has to come up with one.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We should briefly talk about TV, right? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. So it's Memorial Day, which is kind of why everything's a total shit show.
Right.
But it means so all of Stranger Things premiered. Obi-Wan premiered. Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yep.
which is actually Baby Leia.
Baby Leia. Spoilers. Wait, am I leaving the Stranger Things stuff in since we talked about it kind
Oh, I don't know. Do you want me to redo it? I can do it better.
of? Well, let's talk about it briefly, just because I
Okay.
feel like that was more just me asking dumb questions.
Okay. So Stranger Things premiered the first part of season 4, the second part, which was like 7 episodes, or 7 movies, depending on how you tell time. The second part will come back, I believe, July 1st. So it ends on sort of a cliffhanger, but you don't have to wait a whole year because I would not remember. I never remember what happened in Stranger Things, so I'm really glad they're only making me wait a month. That said, I thought this season, despite the absurd runtimes, was a lot better. I hated season 3. There were parts of it that were interesting, mostly Steve Harrington and his little ice cream sailor suit. But most of it was really annoying. This season, it's kind of like they course corrected all of the annoying stuff out and then leaned into all of the good stuff. So Mike, Will, Jonathan, the like annoying brother, Nancy's boyfriend, they all are kind of like off in California, and the story like literally just sort of abandons them by the roadside. 11 ends up back in a lab trying to get her powers back with Paul Reiser and Matthew Modine. That gets pretty interesting. But then all the characters that we actually care about, which again is mostly Steve, his hair, and Dustin and the other kids, they're carrying the bulk of the story. Like they're in Hawkins, they're dealing with a serial killer who is basically Freddy Krueger, which is funny because they actually introduce Robert Englund to explain the backstory. Which is just kind of a nice nod. And I don't know if it's too early for spoilers, but I will say I think that the big bad of this season is
it was better executed than I think. I'd gotten kind of sick of Stranger Things because it felt like the threat was always in Hawkins and had to do with the Upside Down, but the vision kind of ended at like a bigger Demogorgon. Like it just always was like this monster from this other realm, and it will be a
Right.
bigger monster that does worse things, but it's always that.
Right.
And it gets really boring. And this season, it's kind of like they finally found an interesting big bad that still has ties to the Upside Down, but in a way that illustrates more about that realm,
Okay.
which the show hasn't done in a long time. They haven't actually like told us new things about this other place. This season, we're actually like spending a lot of time in it, learning more about the history, how the first door to it was like. They're finally expanding on that lore, and the big bad is someone who is formerly human. Or is, I don't know how that humanity works, but whatever, is a monster and also human. And kind of goes, it's a very Freddy Krueger-esque thing, but similarly has ties to a lot of different storylines. So like the big reveal in the last episode of who the big bad is ties a lot of disparate things together, but it's actually satisfying. And it's a really good actor doing it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that the show is like, I had a lot more fun with this season than I did last season, which I was not expecting. I was expecting to continue watching this show, much like I did Heroes, where it's just diminishing returns the whole time. And then eventually I'm like, why do I keep spending time? But it's like, you just keep watching it because you have continued to watch it thus far, and like, why
Right.
quit?
Right.
It's the Dustin answer of things. But this season is the first time in quite a while where I'm actually happy I kept watching it, because it was very much my bag. Also, super gross. Forgot the show could be very, very gross. So yeah, I don't know. That happened. We'll see what happens next.
And wait, sorry, how many episodes were there for this
7.
first half? Seven
Seven
episodes,
episodes.
and most of them are movie length.
The last one definitely was a movie. The previous ones were all, I believe, well over an hour.
Okay.
So
There's definitely like 10 episodes worth of material. Maybe.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though
But like I
7.
said, they keep the show just keeps adding characters, but they don't take away characters. I mean, occasionally they'll kill a character off, but like, so now they have this just gigantic cast and they won't let anyone go. And so you end up with like, in a given episode, they have to check in on like the dude who's in Russia, and check in with like, Winona Ryder who's trying to get to Russia. And they have to check in with the people who are in California, and the people in the lab, and the people in Hawkins, and the other people in Hawkins, and the other people in Hawkins. And like,
Oh, I think I just realized something. That this show is Your Walking Dead.
you shut your fucking mouth. No, it's not, because you know what? They haven't done a bunch of dumb spin-offs of it yet.
Yet.
Yeah, Walking Dead, I at least quit after like season 3. Oh. Well, that was, an awakening I didn't
Well, now that
need.
I've ruined it for you, because I've never seen Stranger Things, so I have no idea. All I know is something about the '80s, and there's kids, and monster thing, and Justice for Barb. So
Justice for Barb.
that's what I know. Like, I know also the first season of Stranger Things was so long ago that the actress who played Barb was, I think after she was already out of the show, was on the one season Jason Tatum show Rise, which nobody remembers. The
Yes.
one about the drama club that oh shoot, I shouldn't not remember the actor's name, but Ted Mosby was the teacher.
Oh.
And
I don't remember his name either.
and it went Josh Radnor, that's his name. He's the drama teacher in like Steeltown, Pennsylvania, and we're gonna solve problems by putting on a musical. and it only went mid-season. I think it was canceled.
Well, because Christopher Guest already did it. You know, it was a very good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. At one point, I was watching some interview with Winona Ryder where she's like, I've been working with these kids for 10 years. And I'm like, what?
That's not right. Is that right? That can't be right.
I mean, like, no disrespect to Winona Ryder, but she's not like the person that I would trust to give me an accurate, accounting of time.
Right.
And I love that about her. But on the other hand, like, also, I can't give an accurate accounting of time, so I can't disprove her. Has it been 10 years? I don't know. Some of the kids still look like kids. I mean, they're getting older, but they have to do this weird CG thing with Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11, because they do these flashbacks to kind of where she was when the show started. And that is dramatic because she's like a foot shorter. Mm-hmm. So they're filming all these new scenes with her, but they have to like not just de-age her, but like physically shrink her.
Huh.
And I'm impressed by how well it works compared to some very bad CG I've seen lately. But I mean, I also kind of wish they had just done the Rory Kinnear's face on a child's like.
Oh yeah, but that was creepy and felt
it was
like
intentional.
Oh yeah, but wait, did you? Okay, so we're not a video game podcast, but have you ever played Disco Elysium?
No.
Do you know about it?
No.
It's like an RPG. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of RPG. It's super fun. It's really well written. That's kind of like the claim to fame is people are like get obsessed with the characters and the design and stuff. But
when did it
I haven't
come
finished
out?
it. It came out a few years ago, but they just re-released like a special edition basically, like maybe last year.
Okay.
I'm
Is it
not that
PlayStation
far
or
into
Xbox?
it. It's everything at this point.
It's everything. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I gotta find it. I love RPGs.
Because I've been playing it very slowly, and I mean, yeah, it's many people have played it already, so it's not like anything new. But the again, not that we're talking about the movie Men, but the drunken Rory
We're not a
Kinnear
video
kid,
game or movie.
yeah, reminded me of there's a character in Disco Elysium named Kuno who's just like a foul-mouthed child, and watching the movie, I was just like, oh, this. Now I'm just thinking of Kuno.
Well, and so wait, to bring it full circle back to
Okay,
television, they released the trailer for the next season of Umbrella Academy, which has number 5, who is the child, the 15-year-old kid with the, who's like an old man in a kid's body. And he's like my favorite character in the whole thing. And he's very much that. Like, he doesn't look older, but it's like he's the foul mouth. Like,
Yeah.
he just says these horrible things, but looks so adorable in his like little schoolboy outfit.
Yeah.
And I'm actually looking forward to the next season. That show is much more fun than I like. It always impresses me how much I enjoy the show when I'm watching it. And speaking, and The Boys comes.
What?
I was gonna say, and The Boys comes back this week.
That's true. That's okay. That's a show I've actually watched.
You've actually,
Unlike, I've actually seen The Boys.
You've never seen Umbrella Academy?
No.
Oh, it's okay.
There's a lot of stuff I miss on Netflix.
You watch a lot of things I don't watch, like good television.
No, that's not necessary. I did watch Shoresy on Hulu.
Oh yeah, what? I saw that on the list. What?
Okay, very briefly. So Letterkenny, which is now up to season 10
right.
on Hulu. Although, their seasons are like 6-episode seasons. So it's like a season is really two seasons is really one season. Because they'll do like
So it's
a 6-episode season in the summer and then a 6-episode season in the winter.
right.
But,
Okay.
but they the creators of Letterkenny created a spin-off called Shoresy, which follows in Letterkenny. So you've never seen Letterkenny, right? Or
No.
have you? Okay.
I haven't.
Jared Kiso, who's the creator of Letterkenny, and also he plays the lead in the show. He plays a second character in Letterkenny who's named Shoresy, and he's a foul-mouthed hockey player. And
Child.
part of the joke is that you never see his face. He's always like facing away from the camera, and he just has like this goofy high voice. And any scene with him is just like a 2 to 3 minute scene of him insulting everybody, and then like them saying "fuck you, Shoresy," and he just like insults them some more. That's literally all this character does. Is like he plays hockey and insults people. And so they created a spin-off show called Shoresy, which follows him. So you actually see his face this time. And I mean, he looks like Jared Kiso because it's him. But it's basically the tone of Letterkenny doing Ted Lasso, because the plot of it follows him. He's joined like a terrible hockey team in like a terrible league that nobody cares about, and the team is about to fold. But then he promises, like, we will never lose again if you like let me fix this team.
Like, yeah.
And then but that's like the plot over a 20-minute episode where most of the episode is people insulting each other. So, so it's very much like if you like I don't think I would say if you like Ted Lasso, watch it, but I would say
Right.
if you like Letterkenny, then it's a similar, obviously it's a similar vibe, but it's
Right.
Letterkenny doing like a Ted Lasso-y
Spoof.
kind of story.
Yeah.
Not a spoof, but just like this is like their version of an inspirational thing.
Sports drama.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
it's pretty fun. I mean, Letterkenny and also Shoresy episodes basically have kind of like a few main components to it. One is like a lot of music, like well selected music. There's usually a lot of fighting, and then most
Physical
of the
or verbal?
well, both, but like
Okay.
the physical is pretty brief, and then most scenes are just people insulting each other. There is a scene as an example of Shoresy telling the team owner, introducing all the players that he wants her to hire to like make the team better, and it's like a 5-minute scene, and 90% of the scene is just the characters in the scene insulting each other.
That sounds
But
great.
the plot mechanic of it is, here are the 4 new characters you're about to meet. And there are definitely things that I miss because there are a lot of Canada jokes that I don't understand. But if you understand Canada, it probably also is better.
I'm practically Canadian.
That's true.
Yeah, I've always like Letterkenny is always like on my Hulu homepage. Like
Mm-hmm.
like Hulu is like, you should watch this. It's like the one time the algorithm is right, and every time I'm like, I should, and then I realize like there's a show. There's always something else that like
Right.
recently it was my husband and I realized that we were like a season behind, like that a whole season of My Hero Academia had been added, and we're like, oh yeah, we should probably catch up on that. Like we should. There's always something that's like we're already in the midst of that we need to watch.
Right.
But Letterkenny is just sitting there like,
Yeah.
like you should watch me. Like I know.
And part of it is just it's very like I feel like I actually think Letterkenny kind of started slow at the beginning and then kind of found its groove and then kept improving and then kind of plateaued. So, like at this point it's basically like the show is more or less, what you expect.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that they're necessarily growing at this point, or like expanding, but
Is it I mean, in terms of humor, it's not like would it a fair comparison be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or no?
Uh, I think it's a fair comparison in that it's a show that very like knows very specifically what it is, and if you like it, you could probably drop in and out as you want to.
Right.
Like you can with Always Sunny. Although I'm actually doing an Always Sunny rewatch right now just for fun.
So good.
It's so good. I'm still only back in like season 3, so I've got a lot to go. But
It's great. It's even like I love the rewatch thing because it's like the show did mature just in the sense of like they understand, even given the fact that like it's not that nothing's off limits, it's that they've learned like as the boundaries of taste have shifted because it's been on the air for so long. I love seeing where like the stuff that was like horrible but okay to air back then, now it's like they would never have done that because it's
Right.
horrible and also horrible.
right.
Like, and so you can see the show find new targets that are just
Yeah.
as horrible,
Yeah.
but are like at least they don't feel bad about themselves for doing it.
Right. I think that the difference is, and also, even though they're 10 seasons in, it's much fewer episodes and it's covering a shorter amount of time. I don't think Letterkenny hasn't gone through that kind of evolution. I feel like the things that they've evolved are more just like they've found more interesting things for the characters. So like characters who were one note become, slightly more nuanced versus but the show itself hasn't. I don't know that it's I don't know that I would say it's changed much in the way that like even Always Sunny, you look at like by the most recent season there's like a shocking amount of heart or like the last few seasons there's like a lot of heart and pathos in in some of those episodes that
It's kind of like from when they finally let Matt come out.
Yeah.
Like it's suddenly like, oh no, we can like really like deal with these characters.
Yeah. Even though they're still insane like 90% of the time.
Yeah. Also, I like that the show has gotten a lot more like with Dennis being clearly a psychopath. Sociopath? Dennis.
Yeah.
But I like how it was always treated as like kind of a gag in the beginning, and it's just like steadily gotten more. It's like they just leaned all the way in where all the characters are like, it's not just a one-off gag. It's like, no,
Right.
he's genuinely a disturbing person.
Right.
And that is his chief character trait.
Yeah.
Like everyone acknowledges it.
Anyway.
Did you end up watching? You didn't watch Kids in the Hall, did you?
Oh, I started it. I watched the first episode, so
Okay.
I haven't finished it yet. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Talk
it.
to somebody about it.
I know. I enjoyed it overall. I will finish it.
Don't care. It's okay.
No, I know, but I actually do want to finish it. But I'm trying to think. Like what my favorite sketch in the first episode was. I think it was probably the restaurant sketch.
Oh yeah. Is it the pie?
The pie, yeah.
Yeah.
Pie
That comes back around, sort of.
Oh, okay.
They have a lot of like recurring characters that will
Yeah.
like they'll do different sketches. Like
Yeah. Oh, and just weirdly, the two, I'm blanking on their names, but the two executive characters. There's just the ending of the episode where they're just like, no, we're just gonna let this run. Just keep doing stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of the ultimate frame for the season. So there's one sketch in a later episode that, because they'll kind of do these sketches where it's like they check in. It's like the the frame sketch for the episode where it's like that is the story that they'll check in on a couple times. And so there's one episode where that sketch is this apocalyptic DJ. And I saw that Dave Foley like did an interview on it, and the whole joke, he was like, you know, I didn't expect, like, people have really responded to the sketch, but like he's like, I was surprised. I'm surprised that the other character, like the other actors, let me do this on the show. I'm surprised that people like it. I'm surprised that anyone wants to talk to me about it. Like the whole interview is him being like, because like, and it's true when you watch it, there isn't a punchline. Like it's not. It feels very different from everything else, but I appreciated it, which is just it's a guy in a bunker, and he's trying to continue DJing, but he only has one record, and it's a single for this song, and it's like you I got a brand new pair of roller skates, you've got a brand new whatever that song is. It's like this terrible song, and so the whole sketch is just him doing a DJ intro, queuing up that song, and playing it while he like stares off into the distance. and by the end, like the third iteration of this at the end of the episode is that his generator is failing. It's just like the lights going out as the song continues to play, and there's no punchline. It's just so fucked up, and it's kind of wonderful.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to it. But I'm gonna beg for us to move on, only because this episode's already longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, we were just supposed to make fun of Dustin, but that
Right.
he's kind of an easy target.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't really have anything else to say, do we? Barry was good. I don't know.
Barry was good. Hacks finally. I mean, I've been enjoying this season of Hacks, but I feel like it's finally hit like, oh, this is what they've actually been building to.
Yeah.
And I think there are only 2 episodes left, if I'm correct.
I think so. We should be, yeah.
We're 6 in, so I don't know if it's 8 or 10.
So there should be 2 more. Yeah.
But not, I mean, you know, it's been enjoyable generally the whole time, but it's definitely like they've kind of hit the point of like, oh, okay, this is what they've been building to, is this like breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan premiered, which was
We mentioned.
fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Well, I don't know if that was pre-show or not.
No, it was show, but we didn't really talk about it much. It was fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Sung Kang is in it, so that's good.
Under a lot of makeup.
Under a lot of makeup. I did not recognize him.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, good for him.
Yeah. Just get that money.
Yeah.
Just Star Wars things. So then they keep inviting you to all of the fan conventions, and you can. I feel bad. Like, are we supposed to know his character? Like, is he from a cartoon?
I don't know. And Dustin definitely doesn't know.
No, I mean, Dustin would be useless.
Yeah.
If we could ever get Mike can fill all of this in. He mentioned something about the Grand Inquisitor dying. Somebody said, I think he said that, and but that doesn't mesh with the cartoon continuity.
Oh. I don't know.
But I wouldn't know.
But
Baby Leia.
Baby Leia is really the breakout star. And also whatever deal Jimmy Smits made to look as handsome as ever.
So young. and Ewan McGregor as well, but Jimmy Smits, man. Looks good. You know what? Here's what I thought. Did I mention this before? Baby Yoda could show up. I mean, Grogu, not like actual Baby Yoda. Because Baby Yoda is 50 years old when we meet him in The Mandalorian.
Right.
But that takes place later. This is happening before Star Wars. This is like between the prequels and the new ones.
The Mandalorian happens. This show is 10 years before
The New Hope.
The original
A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
And then Mandalorian is like somewhere around like it's several years after Jedi, so it's probably like 10 to 15 years. So you're right. Baby Yoda is probably like in his 20s.
Yeah. So he could be like just like a infant Yoda. Like we could
Right.
get a younger Grogu. And I'm not saying that needs to happen, but think of the merchandise.
A slightly smaller Grogu.
I would buy it.
I mean, I don't own any Baby Yoda merchandise, but I probably would also buy it.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
could put them next to each other.
all they have to do is just make a slightly smaller mold, and it's the same thing.
Right, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can and it could be like the phases of man, you know, but it's just like baby or Yoda, baby Yoda, and then like Yoda.
One thing that I was struck by, other than yes, there is so Leia and Luke are 10 at this point in the continuity, and young Leia is apparently, based on the first 2 episodes at least, will be a major part of the story, which is great because that was actually the part that was the most exciting. Like the rest of it, there are moments that are fun. There are moments that feel like, oh, this is cool, or this is something that I feel like I have the nostalgic feel for, but because we don't really know much about Leia in this, and specifically this period of her life, that's a nice. It's a smart move to try to make that
Yeah.
as central as it feels so far.
Also, she's not on Tatooine,
Right.
which is great. Just for a change of pace.
Yeah. So it's not all Tatooine again.
Again. Like, it's a whole goddamn galaxy far, far away. There are other planets. There's space. Just be in space. Just do fucking anything.
One other thing that I was kind of enjoying was how, like, I mean, look, the show is fine, and it's not like mind blowing. Like I think we were talking about this pre-show that like you if you've watched any moderate amount of television, you'll probably see most of the twists coming. At least again out of the first 2 episodes. But one thing that does amaze me is how people who played a role, now 15, 17 years ago are back to play that role again. Like that Disney was just like, all right, how much money to come back and play this role? Because Jimmy Smits is back. Joel Edgerton, who was not a big actor at the time and is much bigger now, is back to play Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
Which is like it's great and it's kind of cool to see, but it's also like it's just weird to be like that they have that much power.
But also, so this is something I was thinking about because another one of the complaints that has been lobbed at the show, which granted, is that like it costs so much money and you don't see it on screen. Mm-hmm. Like frankly, some of it, like that woods chase scene, like some of it looks very, but like something you would have seen in Hercules or Xena or something. Mm-hmm. Like this is not, where is the $100 million going, whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, no, it's going to actor salaries.
Right.
Like it's like they got Ewan McGregor and Jimmy Smits and like I don't think it is going to the filmmaking. I think it's going to the salaries. Like I want to know how much Ewan McGregor is getting for this, and Hayden Christensen. Like I can't imagine he would have, like, if I were him, I would have demanded some money.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And,
like he took enough shit for playing Anakin all those years ago. Like I think it only works if he comes back, and it's like, yeah, so pay me.
Right.
So anyway, I hope everyone is getting a lot of money. Enough money to justify why we're not seeing that money on screen.
Right.
Because sometimes it doesn't look very good.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's still, I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I feel like I've said this before on this podcast. I don't know if I have, but I've as a kid, I thought I was like a real diehard Star Wars fan, and I think one thing that I mean, I still enjoy it, but
Yeah.
like one thing that I think I've discovered is that I'm like an intermediate level fan, and so like I don't know all the ins and outs, and I'm okay with that because like I can enjoy this show, and it's like it's fine, and it's not gonna, but it's not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm not emotionally invested in a way that it will pain me if it's not what I was hoping.
Yes, true. Also, I found that about a lot of things that I liked as a kid, and I think part of it was that when we were kids, there was only like if you said you liked Star Wars, you liked 3 movies.
Right. Well, and books.
And like, well, but there were books, but like that didn't enter into it for me at least. Like, and that was the part of it, part of the fandom I wasn't aware of. But then it just kept growing.
Right.
If I said I liked Star Trek, it was a handful of movies, and you honestly like, yeah, you could watch the original show, but like, you didn't really need to. You could just like there were a lot of, but now it's like no, there is so much other media. There's always books, comic books, like the canon of these properties is so large that it's not that I'm not a fan. It's that like, yeah, I've only ever been a fan to a point.
Right.
And I rely on other people to fill me in on what I'm missing because
Right.
I've come to accept that I'm not passionate enough, I guess, about literally anything. Like it's not even that Star Wars isn't captivating enough.
Right.
It's that I'm really lazy. Like, I don't.
Oh, good. That's how I feel too. There's too much. There's too much to watch.
There's
you can't
too much.
and read and everything. You can't get it all. But
No, which is why I always think it's funny when like Dustin will be like, "You're the like." So when he like does the assignments, it's like there'll be like somebody like Kurt does Marvel movies, but then Dustin for whatever reason has made me Spider-Man movies. I only really like. I read a lot of X-Men. Like, I didn't read a bunch of Spider-Man or even other Marvel things. I literally only read, if it had mutants, I read it. So it's always really hard for me to be like, I know what's going on with Morbius. I don't fucking know Morbius. So, what I'm saying is, it's really hard to be an internet expert
yeah.
on anything.
Yeah.
Because it requires caring.
Or a lack of shame to be able to just definitively state your opinion.
Oh no, I do that. That's how you paper over the vast lack of knowledge.
Oh, okay. That's the part I need to work on, I think.
You need to really, if you just drop the shackles of shame, everything becomes much easier.
Yeah, I still feel shame most of the time.
Oh, don't.
Except for when it comes to making fun of Dustin.
Oh God, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, if anyone should feel shame, it's Dustin.
Yeah.
For
How does he not feel shame?
he's probably too busy. That's what he claims. He was so busy, he didn't watch television.
So much TV that he had to watch that he just froze up.
So are we going to make him talk about all of, 2 weeks worth of television next week?
Oh, that sounds like that sounds great, in part because we're still probably going to be clinging to the hour-long format, I assume.
Right.
So,
and it's less for us to do. I mean, we've just carried an entire podcast without him. We should really take a back seat.
This is like 3 episodes worth of work that we've just done, so... So Dustin should at least have to talk about 2 weeks worth of TV. Again, in 5 minutes, because why else?
Yeah, no, we'll time him, and he can't pick. We have to lob them at him.
Yeah.
We can also make him talk about every individual episode of Night Sky, but we lob them at him out of order.
Right.
We're like, season 1, episode 6, go.
I'm sure that will do well. I'm he'll definitely have that locked
He'll do
down.
fine. He'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Like we talked about some TV. And The Boys is coming back this week, right?
Yeah, we said that.
Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Is there anything else coming up to watch?
I mean, we're all gonna be watching The Boys.
Yeah. To fulfill my supposed duties as the comedy editor, Netflix today released the Norm Macdonald special.
Oh
Which is
yeah.
called Nothing Special, and I watched it today, so I've actually seen it. I have not seen. There's like about a 30-minute segment that's it's like a bunch of comedians discussing, like they've watched it and now they're talking about the special and like Norm Macdonald's legacy. I haven't seen that part yet.
Oh yeah.
But the special, it's interesting because it's just him at his computer, or in front of a screen, or in front of a camera talking.
Right.
And
Because he
telling
shot it
jokes.
from home. It was like a pandemic special,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no audience. There's no anything. It's interesting because it's very loose and free form, and some of it feels very first draft, and like stuff that if he had had the time, he would have worked out and sharpened.
Right.
And there's some stuff that's like they're like genuine like jokes where you're like, oh, that was a good joke. And so it's kind of an interesting. It's like seeing someone's notebook. It feels like that, which is kind of an interesting thing to get to experience because you usually don't get to see that, especially not in film specials, right? The film special is perfect. It's like they've worked out this material for
Right.
a year, if not years. But this is much more like if you got to, it feels a little bit, it has the vibe of like if you were, hanging out with him and he said like, can I try some of these jokes on you?
Right.
Which is kind of a bittersweet way to experience it. So,
Yeah.
it's not, it's not the funniest special, but there's still some jokes in there, and there's some, I don't know. If you like Norm Macdonald, you'll enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, I thought of something to make fun of Dustin about. Shoot, what was it? One, he totally, I don't know if anyone caught this week he baited us with his SNL who
yes.
got the least screen
Right.
time. Yeah. We all knew it was Aristotle. He didn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he made us read it the whole way.
That was an attack, a personal attack.
It was. It felt very personal. And he needs to have another axe to grind because Kyle Mooney's leaving.
Right.
So that was stupid. He wrote something else that, I don't remember. I mean, there's Fear the Walking Dead, blah. And he did a whole post on Time Traveler's Wife and how uncomfortable he is with the blowjob thing, and didn't once mention that it's just masturbation. So
Right.
I kind of feel like we should really be questioning his understanding of both time travel mechanics and sex.
I mean, if anything, it really feels like this makes him the least qualified to cover shows with time holes.
It's true. But as we've just discussed, what really makes you an expert in something is passion. And if there's
Right.
one thing that Dustin has passion for, it's holes.
Yep. Dustin loves his holes.
Love Dustin's hole watch.
Dustin's whole watch.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, that feels like a good place to end. We almost went an hour, which is insane to me.
Yeah, this was going to be a short episode where
gonna
we
be a
just
mini
bashed
episode.
Dustin.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you ever hear us agree with Dustin, just remember, we need help.
Yeah.
Send help.
Call the authorities.
Yes.
whichever ones. All of them. Doesn't matter.
All of them.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.